Hello everyone. This is Bruno. He is my manager in the current company. And thank you, Bruno, for accepting my invitation to join this video and share with the younger people about experience working as a backend developer and looking for a job in Canada.
All right, let's get to it. Hello, everyone. My name is Bruno. I am a software engineering manager here at IC Group. I've been working as a software developer for almost 13 years. I have a graduation in computer engineering and a post graduation degree in project management. I think for most part of my career, I was working as a backend developer, and then I ended up, I would say, evolving into a full stack as a full stack developer. And today I'm a software engineering manager. So here at IC Group, I manage the engineering team, which involves front end developers, back end developers, as well as the QA team.
So we have two parts in this video. The first part will be backend developer, experience in working in backend development. And then the second thing will be looking for a job in Canada. And then for the first part, I have a couple questions that I want to ask you. For the first thing is that although I'm a junior front-end developer, I still want to know about the back-end side. Could you share a bit about that?
Sure. So as a backend developer, there are a few expectations, right? And when you start as a junior, um, you start only with the basics, which is really understanding how the language you are choosing it works. Supposedly you're choosing Java or C Sharp, for example. It's understanding how to run a project, how to compile a project, really starting with the basics, creating your own console application, and just returning a hello world. It's actually that's a really great way to start. Is really familiarizing yourself with the tool, and then you start actually evolving. When we talk about Java and we talk about C Sharp and other languages, there are tons of ramifications, right? There is the usage of these languages for only an exclusive backend work, like Windows applications, IoT devices, but there's also the web development.
Mm.
So web development is when you have the integration in between the front end with the back end. And so my suggestion for a junior developer would be start studying and playing around and figuring out what kind of language first you would feel more comfortable with.
Okay.
Choosing, well, I feel like I like Java, maybe do some research on job posts and look what actually companies are asking for a backend position so you can direct better on your expectations. Since you're starting, there's nothing wrong there. You can make mistakes and you can choose and change different technologies, and that's okay. But as you evolve, you're going to understand that it's not only about coding, but it's also about designing and structuring your applications. How does that communicate with the database? What kind of database you're going to choose? Are you choosing SQL Server? Are you choosing Oracle? Are you choosing a new technology as NoSQL databases? Are you working with Node.js for your backend application? So there's a lot of things, and basically, as a developer, you should. It's I think that the most generic skills that you can have is also learning algorithms. Algorithms are good because they exercise the way that you think. So in the old days, I would say companies they used to look for a developer in a certain technology. Now everything got to be more generic. As an example, from the front end frameworks, you in the past the very popular one was AngularJS, and then a bunch of other languages submerged from that areas with Ember.js, React.js, Vue.js. So nowadays companies are only asking for if you have experience with a certain JavaScript framework technology, that's enough. What they want to know is if you actually can troubleshoot problems and you have the logic in your head. And that's the same for backend. So I see a lot of companies asking if you know either Python, C++, C Sharp, Java. If you know any of them, you're probably are going to do well in your job. But for sure, regardless if you're choosing a career or a path into web application or just IoT devices or any other application, there will be an integration in between your backend with a database. Regardless which database layer you're choosing, it's also good to understand the advantages and disadvantages of using different technologies and you understand their purpose. But like as you grow from a junior into a more intermediate and like a senior position, obviously the expectations are higher, and it's not only about technical, but it's also about how you manage your own time, how you mentor others, how you teach them, and how you actually keep yourself up to date. I think that's the hardest thing, and I would suggest for a person that is planning to start into this development career is knowing that technology changes all the time, and if you're starting, know that there's no end. You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna have to be constantly studying
Mm-hmm.
and learning, but it pays off.